it's like a kind of a family to me because I've been here for 12 years. A giant in the e-commerce field. I guess to me, it's a big part of my life. What kept me here for such a long time? Well, I can't explain. Hard to explain. I got stuck in the meeting for 10 minutes. Well, this week is not too bad because last week I had about 4 to 5 hours of meetings every day. This week I've only had 3. I have a little team now of 10 or 9, and they gave me all their weekly reports, and I'm supposed to get back to them, but I haven't had time to look at any of them yet. So.
This is Daniel Draper.
一类就是那个处方药，包含激素，然后还有一个是秦药，然后上面一类就是那个 OTC 药，就是那个废处方，就包含那个成品。我觉得这个前台都可以放到。
Daniel and his team need to keep an eye on the provisions of domestic and foreign goods embargoes and update the information on Alibaba's B2B platform in real time. Their job is to assist customers in learning about the latest information on import and export trade, mainly covering prohibited and restricted product listings, and among other issues, as well as to help them coordinate with local governments all over the world.
And I'm employee number 62, and now there's something like 20,000. So there has been a bit of growth.
This is Alibaba, a name well known around the globe. This world-renowned large corporation plays a key role in the e-commerce both in and out of China. Based in Hangzhou, the Alibaba Group is dedicated to helping people buy or sell anything online at any time, anywhere in the world. It provides an online marketplace facilitating business-to-business international and domestic China trade, retail, and payment platforms, a shopping search engine, and data-centric cloud computing services. Founded in 1999 by Jack Ma and 17 others in Zhejiang province, the privately held Alibaba Group now reaches users in more than 240 countries and regions. The Alibaba Group, including its affiliates, employs more than 25,000 people in some 70 cities in Greater China, India, Japan, Korea, the United Kingdom, and America. In addition to the 18 founders, there is one senior officer who has spent more than 10 years, almost the same as the founders, working with the company. His name is Daniel Draper.
When I joined Alibaba, it was just before my 23rd birthday. And now I've been here for almost 12 years. So I mean, that's almost all my adult life. I came to China just before I turned 21. So I've been in China practically my whole adult life. And then most of that I've been working at Alibaba.
他进入阿里巴巴有10多年的时间了，应该是阿里巴巴元老级的人物。然后当时听到的时候，觉得挺诧异的。
我觉得一个老外的话，其他文化什么方面的话都会不一样，就感觉，能跟着这个阿里巴巴一起成长这么多年，也是不容易的嘛，就觉得他很强悍。
好的。
我再问你一个问题，去跟家乡的是说已经管制的那些药嘛？
然后这3个的话，那边说是需要经营许可证的。
一般遇到一些比较复杂的问题的话，人家都跟我说，他说，你去问一下 Daniel 怎样怎样。
他现在是我们的百科全书，就是我们只要有不了解都会去问他，然后因为他对国外的一些法律啊，然后在一些新闻都会比较了解嘛，都是通过他那个端口去了解一些不知道的东西，也都是问他的，所以的话，他就相当于是我们这边的一个词典一样的。
那我说我自己的事吧。Well, the department where I'm with now, a lot of my colleagues are only been with Alibaba for a year or less. But yeah, they are quite young. They don't know what happened beforehand. And they said to me, oh, how can you be here so long? How can you... Maybe they think their work is very tough or they're very tired. And I said, well, work is very easy now compared to what it was for us 10, 11 years ago. They think I'm very old.
In 1998, Daniel left Australia to study Chinese at Hangzhou University, which was later merged into the famous Zhejiang University. After a year, when he finished his course, he began work with a foreign trade company in Hangzhou. Later, he moved to Shanghai and worked for an overseas study consulting firm and then taught English for a while. But in the back of his mind, he was aware of how strongly attached to Hangzhou he was.
I like Hangzhou because Hangzhou is, I guess, smaller, it's easy to get around, it's just a lot less stressful. And I met my wife here and she's from Hangzhou. So I guess like a lot of people who meet their husbands or wives in a different country, they end up staying there.
我们结婚7、8年了有，是上学的时候认识的。现在我们宝宝有18斤了，现在做全职妈妈没办法。最主要我们在那工作比较认真，从来都没有6点下过班。他周末看宝宝看的比较多，周末怎么说？我们在那什么工作也都是比较稳定的。因为他在澳洲根本就没什么工作，我们都是从工作什么都在杭州发展。
At this point, Daniel has found fulfillment with a family and a stable career with a large corporation in a city he loves. But all of this began more than 10 years ago, when Daniel was drawn back to Hangzhou. But to live there, he had to find a job.
And I was searching, just online, searching for jobs, and I don't know, usually when you search for a job you use certain keywords. My keyword was just Hangzhou, so anything in Hangzhou was okay. And so 3 or 4 jobs popped up, and yeah, one of them was just titled Alibaba, and I thought that was a really strange name, Alibaba, in Chinese, Alibaba. I thought that was a really strange name, so I clicked in, had a look through, and they were looking for a English-speaking person to work as a copywriter, and I thought, oh, I can do that, so I just sent my resume off. The original office is like this. So in this flat here, on the 2nd floor.
Daniel is one of the few people to witness the stories behind these pictures, since he was actually there.
This window, behind this window. So in the corner, away from this window. I thought it was a little strange when I came for the interview. I think it was towards the end of December. I went up to look at the office, and on the 2nd floor, the whole door outside there was just shoes everywhere. And I thought, oh, so you're not allowed to wear your shoes inside, so I took my shoes off. And I went inside and everyone was wearing like big jumpers, big jackets and like hats, and I thought, what's wrong with these people? It's, you know, there's a big air conditioner in the corner, why don't you turn it on? And they just said, well, because we've got so many computers and stuff in this one little apartment, which is the office, they just said, oh, we can't turn the air conditioner on because it'll overload the power, and you know, all the fuses will blow and whatever. So at the time I thought, wow, this company's a little dodgy. Everything being crammed into one little place. And then after the interview, I came to work here at the beginning of, after Chinese New Year. So in February the 14th, 2000. But it was nice and quiet because it's inside a residential complex. Although I don't know what the neighbours thought about having 30 people coming and going at all hours every day. And this is Jack Ma and some of the staff.
10年以前，在我的家里，我还有17位的其他的17位的同事，刚才的创业者们，我们描绘了一个图。我们认为中国互联网会怎么发展，中国电子商务会怎么发展。我们讲了2个小时，从此就开始走上了这条路。我记得9年以前，有人认为阿里巴巴的商业模式，阿里巴巴提供的服务，就像是把一个万吨轮抬到喜马拉雅山上。
So I wasn't really expecting the company to grow that fast, although we were all working really hard in that. So we knew there was a lot of, we were growing.
Daniel did not foresee his choice would provide him with an opportunity to witness the growth of a future e-commerce giant and experience the rapid development of the internet marketing industry in China.
I told my family back home I was going back to Hangzhou to work, okay. And they said, what are you going to do, or where are you working, or whatever. I said, I'm working for a company called Alibaba, and they thought, well, that's strange. And then, because it was quite a small company at the time, I went back to Australia in about May 2000, after I'd been at Alibaba for about 3 months. But while I was at home, there was a TV program on which was talking about, I guess, internet companies or something in China. And Alibaba appeared for about 10 minutes. And apparently I was in the movie, in the show. I didn't see it. But after that, my family were quite interested in Alibaba, because they thought, well, if you're not a very big company, if you're not very influential, then how could you possibly be on a TV show in a different country? So after that, they've sort of, I guess, taken notice of Alibaba in the news.
In 2003, SARS broke out in China and around the world. To some extent, this disaster put internet-based e-commerce on a faster track. At the end of 2003, the company had more than 4.4 million subscribers, while the number reached 7.7 million by the end of 2004. Only 2 years later, the number surpassed 20 million. By the end of 2009, there were more than 40 million subscribers enjoying Alibaba's service. Ever since 2003, Alibaba, as well as the entire e-commerce industry in China, entered a stage of rapid development.
This was in 2009. We had a relay race this place is back in the original office. We had a relay race from there to this office. So this is crossing over the river. And I was in the race over on this side of the river.
今天是阿里巴巴10周年，我们希望通过这个过江的仪式，能够把阿里巴巴的创业能够传到江对岸，传到全世界各地。感谢阿里巴巴所有的同事，感谢大家。
On September 9, 2009, Alibaba celebrated its 10th anniversary in a very special way. A total of 102 staff members carried an Ali stick and ran all the way from the company's original birthplace across the city and swam across the Qiantang River and finally arrived at Binjiang district, where one of Alibaba's new buildings is located.
And this baton was made with sand from all our different offices around the world. So they got sand or some soil from all the different offices around the world, and they sent it to Hangzhou and they put it into here. So this is made from sand from all the offices around the world. I think just that all the offices around the world would be together, and all our staff would be thinking of and coming together here.
今天中国全世界有近4000万的客户，相信我们可以把这个万吨轮从喜马拉雅山弹到山脚底下。今天我们做到了，感谢我们的客户对我们的信任。
12 years later, and have offices all over the world, all over China, and working with different companies all over the world, growing pretty quickly. I mean, if you look at companies I don't know, old companies, like old style companies, they may take 20 or 30 years to grow this big. But yeah, I guess we have grown pretty quickly. And there's always so many different things going on, so many different projects and different cooperation with different companies and stuff going on.
In just 12 years, Alibaba grew from only 18 founders in 1999 to more than 20,000 employees today. As Alibaba's business has continued to expand around the globe, this company has established more than 70 domestic and foreign offices. Alibaba is attracting more and more attention around the world.
They do a survey every year of where new grads want to work in China, which companies, and Alibaba is always in the top 1 or 2 or 3 positions every year. If I put an ad online or just some expat website, automatically a lot of people will say, hey, I'm really interested in the job. Just when they see the name Alibaba, they automatically come and ask you lots of questions. Like I know there's a guy here now who's an intern and he's Mexican. So for him to have an internship at a very good, very famous, very big Chinese company that's not just famous in China but it's also famous overseas for 6 months or whatever on his resume, that will look pretty good.
In Daniel's view, the internship would provide expats with solid skills, not only Chinese language skills and communicating with local staff, but also with getting in touch with the local culture.
Yeah, so this is a really...
There is a saying at Alibaba that the staff can only be called an Ali Zhen or Ali person when they spend at least 3 years at this company. Daniel believes that he's a qualified Ali Zhen not only because of the years he's spent at Alibaba.
Ali person, so someone who is not necessarily an employee of Alibaba, but someone who is part of Alibaba. You know, because maybe some people just come and work and they leave and they don't worry about the company. But I think I'm an Ali Ren.
前10年，阿里巴巴只有2大产品，第一个产品就是我们的员工，第二个产品就是我们的客户。任何原因，我们今天活了下来，但是我们还有92年要走。
The dream is that the company will be around for 102 years, because then it will span, starting in 1999, that's the 20th century, then the 21st century, and then into the 22nd century. So to span 3 centuries.
Daniel has been fortunate to have watched the company develop over the past 12 years. Daniel and his colleagues at Alibaba firmly believe that the company has much more room to grow.
If you look around, when I was started at the company 12 years ago in that one little office, and now you look around here and you see this huge campus, and this is only one of the campuses. Like there's another one being built.
Alibaba now has offices across the entire span of Hangzhou, and Daniel's office is in Binjiang district. This district is also known as the High-Tech Development Zone, receiving strong support from the government, aiming to build a Silicon Valley here. Alibaba's rapid development has heavily reflected the growth of China's internet-based marketing industry. According to the latest report conducted by the China Internet Network Information Center, by the end of 2010, online shopping market transactions totaled 523.1 billion yuan, equivalent to $82 billion US. This was almost double the 2009 figures. Daniel appreciates the incredible opportunities that Alibaba has extended to him. The chance to work for a rapidly growing company, to get first-hand experience on the new frontier of the e-commerce industry, and, more importantly, to live in Hangzhou longer. He embraces Alibaba's hard-working spirit, always setting a good example for the younger staff.
他在工作当中还是比较严肃的，而且是属于很认真的那种。
然后我们工作上有问题，他也会很细心的来跟我们说。如果是我们网上沟通，就是不能沟通的，他还会跑到你的身边来，一点一点的教你。
但是在平时就是休息的时间，然后跟我们都是很友善的一种状态。
就是跟我们的哥哥一样的，然后我们平时每周开周会的时候还会带一些小零食给我们吃，然后跟我们聊天也聊得很嗨的，就是 就是跟普通朋友一样的。
工作方式比较轻松，但是那个工作态度非常认真。这个的话，我们还是学到了挺多的。
I think a lot of people say this place is more like a school, like a college atmosphere. And because a lot of our top level managers originally, quite a few of them were college teachers, university teachers. So there is that sort of atmosphere. And I mean, you can hear now, it's fairly quiet, but sometimes it gets really noisy and people might go, oh, it's too noisy, but no one will complain because, people are just being happy. No one's going to complain about that. It's just because my card's broken, so I have to pay. When you get to Alibaba, it was very laid back, easygoing. My boss, my departmental boss, is actually a founder, and she often doesn't use her office. She sits just with everyone else, and there's no problem talking to her about anything. If you have any problems, just go and talk to them, and so that's I like that atmosphere.
你的卡你还去弄一下？
我要去，因为我支付宝坏了，他要支付宝付钱嘛。
你支付宝怎么坏了？
我就去年那次。年底那次用了
对，那应该一直。
所以，我让我同事给我做，但是不知道为什么他发不出去的，所以已经扔了好几个礼拜，我没去修。
那你给我好了，如果支付宝不 work， 我帮你找支付宝的人。
没关系，我用我那个同事帮我做好了。
叫同事帮你做。
太懒了，我每次忘记了。I eat at my desk because we only have an hour for lunch, so I usually do some work at lunch, or just check my email and look at some websites, read the news. The money automatically goes into the card. And it's not just only for the cafeteria, it's also for the company shop. There's a shop downstairs. You can use the card as well. You can use a card at Starbucks because there's a Starbucks downstairs. So I actually have Starbucks once or twice a week now. 是吗？诺今天怎么样？
Daniel's life is heavily connected to Alibaba. He keeps lots of Alibaba memories at home.
And then all this stuff is all my Alibaba stuff. So I think this was when we had the 10th anniversary, and they filmed it in ceremony in the Yellow Dragon Stadium. There was like 28,000 people there. So the stadium is huge, and I was right in the front row. I guess I'm going to be interviewed, and they said yes. They told me some questions they were going to ask, and then when they asked the questions, like I already worked out, I just say yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes, yes. And then when they asked me the questions, she asked them in a different way. So the question was, are you married? And I said I would say yes. Except the person asked, she said,
Daniel 是黄金单身汉吗？黄金单身汉。
现在不是。
现在已经不是了。Daniel 今天太太有来到我们现场吗？
来的。
来的是不是？在哪个方向？
坐在那边。
我们掌声给 Daniel 的太太好吗？谢谢我们的阿里家属。
And then people were expecting to see my wife and see my boss. Then, the whole stadium, everyone was laughing their heads off. And so then that was the end of the interview. That was pretty silly. Because we're on the top floor here, so, yeah. But it's nice. I want to get a barbecue so I can have like an Australian barbecue out here. But we haven't done that yet.
Daniel has been away from hometown for such a long time. Sometimes he does miss the Australian flavour.
Very excited.
Daniel has been living in Hangzhou for more than 10 years. This beautiful ancient city is located in Zhejiang province in southeastern China. Only 200 kilometers away from Shanghai, it's well known for its tourist industry. Throughout the past years, more and more expats have come to Hangzhou to travel and to work, especially when new business development zones are set up, such as Binjiang district, where Daniel's office is located. Daniel and his family usually come to this restaurant to enjoy some Western food. His friend Ruben is the chef here.
My name's Jason.
I've met you before.
Daniel has made a lot of foreign friends here as they share similar experiences.
I met you before at the tribute.
Yeah. So what do you do?
I work at Alibaba.
Hiring.
We were a couple of weeks ago actually. But it got filled, the position got filled. They asked me to look for someone and it got filled like 2 days later. This is my daughter.
It's cute.
This month I came quite a few times because they have on the big screen over there, they had football on. They had Australian football, and so I was watching that. And then they had the rugby, which is the Rugby World Cup in New Zealand, so I was watching that. It's not like a restaurant as such, it's more like comfort food, like hamburgers and fish and chips and pies. I don't know, because in Australia we like to eat meat pies, and there's nowhere you can buy them in Hangzhou. I know there are some places in Shanghai, but there's nowhere to buy them in Hangzhou. And then the cook a couple of weeks ago, he started making meat pies. So all the Australians I know all came here to eat meat pies. So it's just easy food. It's not like a 3-course meal or anything. Although there was for a time.
All right, Daniel. Fish and chips, man. Australian style.
Thank you.
Wow.
Do you want some?
Be done more, in my opinion.
That's what I was saying a few days ago. That my cousin was offered a job at one of the international schools in Shanghai, and she's like a qualified pre-primary teacher. She does pre-primary through to like 8 years old, and she's been like a teacher for 7 years or something in Australia. And she was offered a job at one of the international schools in Shanghai, and she didn't take it because she thought that China was backwards. And I'm like Shanghai is more modern than our cities in Australia.
Yeah,
and she didn't take it. And I was like, you know, you'll be getting paid like so much more money, and everything's paid for, and everything's done for you. You get free accommodation, everything's tax-free, and she didn't take it.
So you touched a pretty important point there. Like you said, your sister, or who was it? Your cousin, that she's pretty qualified to do this job. That's one thing that I like to see that's happening right now too, is that people coming from outside coming into China, it used to be easy to get a job doing anything. You know, if you're a Laowai, you can get a job. You know, and now it's getting harder, and I think that's very good because it's kind of narrowing the scope and raising the level of quality.
Many foreigners choose to live in different countries. So what keeps them there? Maybe it's the lifestyle. Maybe a new career direction.
Maybe if I didn't work for Alibaba like years ago, if I didn't know about Alibaba and I just continued working as a teacher, yeah, I may have gone to work in Shanghai, or may have gone back to live in Australia. But because I've had a good, stable, decent job for this long, so here, been here long term.